Someone recently claimed that flows in the Dungeness River near Squim are now significantly statistically different. I decided to check the actual data. We have over a century of USGS daily records from Site 1204800, going back to 1923. I focused on the May through October low-flow period, the time that matters most for irrigation and salmon in this Olympic rain-shadow river. Here are the key numbers from 94 complete May-October seasons. The linear trend in the seasonal average is a modest drop of about half a cubic foot per second per year. But the p-value is 0.18, not statistically significant. Early decades averaged around 401 CFS in the season. Recent decades average about 372 CFS, roughly a 7 to 8% decline. The full calendar year mean shows no real downward trend at all. Low flows are extremely common. In 98% of years, the river drops below 180 CFS for at least part of the summer. On average, it spends more than 50 days below that level each season. This chart shows the May-October mean flow each year with the trend line. You can see a lot of year-to-year and decade-to-decade variability. Some decades, like the 1950s, were quite high. Others were lower. The overall direction is slightly downward, but the signal is weak compared to the natural swings. This is the average day-by-day pattern for early versus late periods. The shape is almost identical, a classic snowmelt rise followed by a long recession into very low base flow in August and September. That's what happens in a rain-shadow river once the snow is gone. The recent period runs a bit lower in late summer, but we're talking the same fundamental behavior. When you compare the full calendar year average to just the May-October window, something interesting appears. The annual mean is flat to slightly up. The summer low-flow window carries almost all of the modest decline. In other words, outside the low-flow season, flows have not been getting worse. How often does it get critically low? Below 180 CFS in May-October, 98% of years. Below 150 CFS, 94% of years. Below 100 CFS, the level USGS calls low, about 46% of years. Recent years like 2015, 2023, 2024, and 2025 had tough stretches. But the record also shows very low years in the 1920s, 1940s, 1980s, and early 2000s. Decade box plots show the same story, high variability. The 1950s stand out as unusually high. The 2020s so far are on the lower side, but well within the historical range. Low summer flows have always tracked poor snow years in the Olympics. 2015 was a classic example. When snow is light or melts early, August and September flows suffer. This connection is not new. The long record shows two things clearly. First, high natural variability. Second, a modest downward nudge in the summer low-flow window that does not reach statistical significance. The basic summer recession pattern has not changed. The river does what it has always done once the snow is gone. Yes, low flows create real challenges for fish and water users. Practical management, efficiency, leasing, storage has been ongoing for decades. But turning normal seasonal behavior and a weak statistical signal into claims of unprecedented crisis is not supported by the century of data. Facts over hype. The USGS data is public. You can verify this yourself.